At 68 years old, Dwight Yoakam is stepping out of the shadows and speaking out, breaking decades of silence to reveal truths that have left Nashville reeling. For years, rumors and whispers swirled around this country legend, with fans and critics alike wondering about the man behind the rhinestone suits and unmistakable voice. What truths lay behind the speculation? Well, now Dwight Yoakam is finally setting the record straight, and what he's disclosed changes everything we thought we knew about him. This isn't just another story of a country star and his hits. This is the unvarnished truth about Dwight Yoakam, the man, the artist, the rebel. Stay tuned as we uncover the revelations that have rocked the music world. Dwight Yoakam's story begins in the heart of Kentucky, where he was born into a family that didn't necessarily embrace the music that would come to define his career. Influenced early on by the raw sounds of Bakersfield country, Dwight was drawn to the twang of honky-tonk and rockabilly, but he wasn't content to follow the standard paths laid out before him. Instead, Dwight decided to carve his own way, both musically and personally, and that path would be anything but easy. His early years as a performer were marked by rejection and perseverance. In the late 70s, he moved to Southern California, where country music was a tough sell. The city was dominated by pop influences, and traditional country acts like Dwight were not welcomed with open arms. He played in dive bars and small venues, performing for crowds that, at times, didn't know what to make of his gritty sound. But despite the indifference from many, Dwight remained determined to push forward. These were the years of late nights, harsh conditions, and constant setbacks, but Dwight's performances resonated with those who witnessed them. Every time he hit the stage, he earned a little more respect, one fan at a time. He didn't have the backing of major labels, and his music wasn't the mainstream sound that dominated Nashville, but his raw authenticity couldn't be ignored. By the time the early 80s rolled around, Nashville's pop country machine was in full swing. The urban cowboy trend had taken hold, blending country with disco and pop influences. Yet Dwight refused to bow to the trends. He stayed true to the gritty, hard-edged sound of his Bakersfield heroes like Buck Owens and Merle Haggard. And his refusal to conform became a defining characteristic. In a town where commercial success often meant fitting into the mold, Dwight Yoakam stood out by doing everything in his power to resist it. He didn't care for the polished, mainstream style that Nashville promoted. Instead, he embraced the raw authenticity of the genre's roots. In the face of this adversity, Dwight's passion began to pay off. His shows, filled with energy and authenticity, built a fiercely loyal following. It wasn't easy, and the road to recognition was long and full of struggle. But by playing in the gritty bars, where the crowd was sometimes wild and unpredictable, Dwight forged a connection with his audience that went beyond the superficial. His fans understood that he wasn't just performing songs, he was living the music. His live shows weren't perfect, but they were real. And in a world that valued the shiny polish of commercial success, Dwight Yoakam's honesty was a breath of fresh air. He built his fan base from the ground up, and those early days, filled with rejection and uncertainty, would be the foundation of the groundbreaking success that was to come. In 1986, Dwight Yoakam released his debut album, Guitars, Cadillacs, Etc., Etc., a record that would not only reshape his career, but also send shockwaves through the country music industry. At a time when the genre was increasingly being overtaken by glossy, pop-infused sounds, Yoakam's album was a bold statement that reintroduced the gritty, raw, honky-tonk vibe of country's roots. This album didn't just conform to the status quo, it rebelled against it. By combining Bakersfield country's twang with the edge of rock and roll, Dwight created a sound that was undeniably authentic, yet uniquely his own. The album's production was steeped in the classic Bakersfield sound, influenced by the likes of Buck Owens and Merle Haggard, but it was far from a simple throwback. Yoakam's vision was to update these traditional sounds with a modern twist, blending them seamlessly with elements of rockabilly and rock and roll. The result was a fresh, energetic sound that cut through the slick production dominating Nashville at the time. It wasn't just country. It was a celebration of all that was raw and real about American music. The impact of guitars, Cadillacs, etc., was immediate. The title track, Guitars, Cadillacs, became an anthem for anyone who believed in the power of authenticity. With its infectious guitar riffs, haunting lyrics, and Dwight's trademark swagger, the song captured the very essence of his artistic identity. It wasn't long before the song climbed the country charts, marking Dwight Yoakam as a true force in the music world. The album quickly gained traction, moving beyond country's typical fan base to reach a broader, more diverse audience, proving that there was a place for true honky-tonk in a genre increasingly dominated by commercial trends. Despite its success, Yoakam faced resistance from the Nashville establishment. His raw, unapologetic style was in stark contrast to the slick, pop-infused country that Nashville was pushing. The music industry wasn't ready for a rebel like Dwight, but Yoakam's breakthrough was undeniable. His success was a testament to the fact that there was still an audience craving the authenticity and grit of classic country, something that had been lost in the flood of mainstream country stars. Though Nashville initially rejected him, Yoakam's rise was an important turning point in country music. It proved that there was room for authenticity in the genre, even when it clashed with the industry's polished expectations. Dwight Yoakam didn't just find success, he paved the way for others who sought to stay true to their roots, showing that real talent and honest music could still resonate in a world focused on commercial formulas. His story became one of defiance and triumph, and Guitars, Cadillacs, etc., became not just an album, but a movement. In the 2010s, Dwight Yoakam found himself stepping into a partnership that no one saw coming, one that would bring together his honky-tonk roots and the experimental energy of alternative rock. The collaboration with Beck, a genre-defying musician known for blending elements of rock, hip-hop, and folk, was a surprising yet seamless fusion of two worlds. Beck, who had always pushed the boundaries of music, met Yoakam, a stalwart of traditional country, and the result was nothing short of revolutionary. This partnership opened a new chapter in Yoakam's career, one marked by sonic experimentation. While Yoakam had always been rooted in the Bakersfield sound and rockabilly traditions, his work with Beck encouraged him to step outside of his comfort zone. The two artists began to blend Yoakam's signature twang with Beck's unconventional soundscapes, creating a musical experience that was fresh, innovative, and incredibly unique. Yoakam's raw authenticity met Beck's eclectic production style, and together, they crafted something that pushed the boundaries of what country music could be, while still honoring its core roots. The tracks that emerged from this collaboration were unlike anything fans had heard from Yoakam before. Songs like A Heart Like Mine and Take Hold of My Hand demonstrated Yoakam's willingness to evolve. In A Heart Like Mine, Beck's influence is evident in the track's experimental use of electric guitar, a sound that Yoakam hadn't traditionally embraced in his previous work. Beck encouraged Yoakam to take chances, to embrace imperfection, and to capture the moment's raw emotion. The result was a track that combined Yoakam's classic storytelling with a fresh, unpolished energy that felt both nostalgic and forward-thinking. Take Hold of My Hand further showcased their creative synergy, with its intricate mix of pedal steel guitars and layered harmonies. The song's fusion of alt country, with Beck's idiosyncratic approach to rhythm and structure, brought out a new side of Yoakam, one that embraced vulnerability and spontaneity. It was a stark contrast to the more polished work he had done earlier in his career, yet it still carried the unmistakable honesty and passion that defined him from the start. Perhaps the most significant outcome of this collaboration was the new audience it brought to Yoakam's music. While his traditional fan base remained loyal, this partnership introduced him to a younger, more diverse crowd. Those who might have never ventured into the world of country music, but were drawn to the innovative sound created by the mix of Yoakam's country roots and Beck's experimental production. Fans of Beck's alternative rock and indie styles found something intriguing in Yoakam's authenticity, while longtime country fans saw a fresh, modern take on their beloved genre. This cross-genre collaboration bridged the gap between country, indie rock, and alt-country, capturing the attention of a new generation, eager for something different. Through this unexpected partnership, Yoakam proved once again that he wasn't afraid to evolve and experiment. His collaboration with Beck showed that music, much like the artist, can grow, change, and blend in ways that transcend labels. Yoakam wasn't just a traditionalist, he was a trailblazer, willing to challenge expectations and explore new creative avenues, all while staying true to the emotional core of his music. Dwight Yoakam's creative journey didn't stop at music. Long before he became a household name in country music, Dwight had a fascination with acting. From his early years, he was drawn to the art of performance, finding an outlet for his passion in community theater and school plays. These early experiences laid the foundation for what would become a significant chapter in his career, as Dwight began to explore the world of film and television. Although his focus was primarily on music, the desire to expand his storytelling beyond the stage remained constant, setting him on a path that would eventually lead to Hollywood. Yoakam's breakout moment in the film industry came in 1996 with his role in Sling Blade, a film written and directed by Billy Bob Thornton. In this critically acclaimed film, Dwight portrayed Doyle Hargraves, an abusive and deeply troubled character. His portrayal was raw, intense, and unsettling, showcasing a side of Dwight that few had seen before. The role was a far cry from his public persona as a country music star, but Dwight embraced the challenge with unwavering commitment. His performance stunned audiences and critics alike, earning him widespread praise and proving that he was not just a musician dabbling in acting, but a serious actor with considerable talent. This role marked a turning point in his career, establishing Dwight Yoakam as a formidable presence on screen. Following the success of Sling Blade, Yoakam continued to diversify his acting career with roles that showcased his versatility. In 2002, he starred in Panic Room, playing a chillingly menacing character, Raoul. As a masked intruder with a sinister agenda, Yoakam brought a sense of quiet menace to the role, leaving a lasting impression on viewers. His ability to inhabit such a villainous character demonstrated his range as an actor, able to embody darkness with a subtle intensity that few could match. This performance further solidified his place in Hollywood, proving that Dwight Yoakam was more than capable of tackling complex, nuanced roles. But Yoakam's talents didn't stop there. He also ventured into television, appearing in a variety of roles that showcased his knack for embodying quirky and eccentric characters. His guest appearances on Under the Dome and Wilfred were a testament to his ability to move beyond the rigid constraints of typecasting. In Wilfred, Dwight played Dr. Cahill, a mysterious and offbeat character who added depth and intrigue to the show's surreal atmosphere. These roles allowed him to experiment with humor and eccentricity, expanding his acting repertoire and proving that he could tackle both dark and light-hearted characters with equal skill. For Yoakam, acting was not just a side project. It became an extension of his musical career. His approach to acting mirrored his approach to music. Both required a deep emotional connection and a commitment to authenticity. Just as his songs were an honest reflection of his inner world, his acting was grounded in the same raw emotion and vulnerability. Dwight didn't just memorize lines, he lived and breathed the characters he portrayed. Whether on stage with a guitar or in front of the camera, his performances were driven by the same intensity and passion that defined his music. For Dwight, the two creative worlds were not separate entities, but part of a continuous artistic evolution, each informing and enhancing the other. His ability to translate his musical storytelling skills into his acting work allowed him to create performances that resonated with audiences on a deeply emotional level. Whether playing a villain or a quirky character, Dwight Yoakam brought an authenticity to his acting that few could replicate, cementing his place as not only a music icon, but also a respected actor. In the 1980s and 90s, Dwight Yoakam found himself at odds with the very heart of country music, Nashville's music establishment. While the mainstream country scene was dominated by slick, polished pop country sounds, Yoakam refused to conform. Instead, he turned to the raw, rebellious sounds of the Bakersfield era, an influence that was rooted in the gritty honky-tonk tradition and rockabilly. For Yoakam, this wasn't just about nostalgia for an earlier era of country music. It was about staying true to what he believed country music was meant to be: real, unfiltered, and unapologetic. The tension between Yoakam and Nashville was palpable. The music industry in Nashville wasn't looking for an artist who defied the mainstream. Yet, Dwight stood firm in his beliefs, refusing to follow the trendy, pop-driven direction that many of his contemporaries were embracing. He wasn't just rejecting the sound, he was rejecting the very notion of formulaic country. Along with his musical defiance came an image that only further distanced him from the polished, idealized country stars of the time. While many Nashville artists wore neatly pressed shirts and looked picture-perfect, Dwight Yoakam cut a much different figure. His tight jeans, flashy jackets, and low-slung cowboy hat became his signature look, a bold statement of individuality in a sea of conformity. Where others conformed to industry expectations of what a country star should look like, Yoakam embraced a more rebellious, almost rock and roll aesthetic. His image was daring, unconventional, and, to many, downright startling. But it wasn't about shock value, it was about authenticity. Yoakam's look, much like his music, was a reflection of who he truly was, unapologetically showcasing his roots and embracing the freedom of creative expression. Rather than wait for Nashville to accept him, Yoakam took matters into his own hands. He bypassed the gatekeepers of the industry and built his career directly with the fans. He played small venues and rock clubs, often in cities like Los Angeles, where he could connect with listeners who were just as hungry for real country music as he was. These weren't just performances, they were declarations of independence. Yoakam didn't need Nashville's approval to succeed. He built a loyal fan base through his raw, high-energy performances, capturing the hearts of audiences one show at a time. His music spoke for itself, and soon enough, the fans were following, regardless of what the industry thought. Yoakam's decision to reject mainstream trends didn't just pave the way for his own success. It had a lasting impact on the country music landscape. His resistance to the polished, commercialized sound of Nashville opened the door for other artists who felt stifled by the industry's expectations. Yoakam proved that you didn't have to fit into the commercial mold to be successful. In fact, by staying true to his own vision, he created a new lane for authentic country music to thrive. His refusal to compromise on his sound and image inspired a generation of country artists to embrace their own unique identities and rebel against industry standards. Yoakam didn't just play country music, he revolutionized it, proving that there was always room for authenticity and originality in a world dominated by formulas. Dwight Yoakam's career, marked by boundary-pushing music and a defiant attitude, was not immune to the turbulence of the music industry. Over the years, his journey through the business side of music has been as complex and challenging as his rise to stardom. One of the most notable conflicts came in 2004, when a legal dispute erupted between Yoakam and his longtime collaborator, producer Pete Anderson. Anderson, the genius behind much of Yoakam's early sound, filed a lawsuit against him, citing a breach of contract over missed concert obligations. This was no ordinary lawsuit. It marked the unraveling of one of country music's most iconic producer-artist partnerships. Anderson had played a crucial role in shaping the sound that made Yoakam a star, and their split was both a personal and professional blow. Behind the legal drama lay deeper tensions, including disagreements over management decisions and business priorities. The lawsuit signified the end of an era in Yoakam's career and signaled that, even in a business rooted in collaboration, the relationship between artist and producer could sometimes reach an irreparable breaking point. But Yoakam's struggles with the music industry didn't end there. In 2021, he found himself embroiled in a different kind of legal battle, this time with Warner Music, the label behind his early albums. Yoakam took Warner to court over the rights to his debut album, Guitars, Cadillacs, Etc., a release that helped define his career and reshape country music in the 1980s. The lawsuit focused on the issue of music ownership and royalties. According to Yoakam, Warner had failed to honor his legal termination notices under the Copyright Act, which allows artists to reclaim the rights to their works after 35 years. Yoakam alleged that the label continued to profit from his early recordings without his consent, in violation of the law. This legal action wasn't just about one album, it was about something much bigger: the fight for an artist's right to own their work and control their legacy. For Yoakam, it wasn't just a battle over money. It was about reclaiming the creative rights to the music that had shaped his career and standing up against the corporate structures that often limit an artist's control over their own art. This lawsuit was a landmark moment, not just in Yoakam's career, but in the ongoing struggle for artists' rights in the music industry. It highlighted the broader issue of music ownership, especially for veteran artists who are often left powerless in the face of outdated contracts and corporate control. For decades, record labels have maintained tight control over the masters of many artists' early works, even as these artists continue to generate income from those songs long after their initial release. Yoakam's case was a challenge to this system, a direct confrontation with the way the music industry has historically treated its talent. His legal action resonated with many artists who feel that the standard contracts they signed early in their careers no longer reflect the reality of their work and legacy. Yoakam's actions were seen as a victory for artist rights, a powerful statement in favor of creative independence. As the music industry evolves, his battle for ownership of his early work has been a clarion call for other musicians who seek more control over their music. For Yoakam, this wasn't just about legal victories, it was about ensuring that future generations of artists wouldn't be bound by the same restrictive contracts and power imbalances. His fight became a symbol of the changing landscape of the music industry, where artists are demanding more autonomy and respect for their contributions. In the end, Yoakam's determination to take on the industry and fight for his rights not only shaped his own future, but also paved the way for other artists to reclaim their own legacies. In 2000, Dwight Yoakam took a daring leap into filmmaking, stepping beyond his role as a country music icon to create his own Western drama, South of Heaven, West of Hell. This project was nothing short of ambitious. Not only did Yoakam write and direct the film, but he also co-produced and scored it, taking full creative control over the entire production. It was a testament to his passion for storytelling and his desire to explore new creative outlets. Yoakam, a man known for his raw authenticity in music, was now channeling that same energy into the world of cinema, hoping to craft a film that could match the intensity of his music. However, despite his dedication and vision, South of Heaven, West of Hell ultimately failed to connect with both critics and audiences. The film's complex narrative and experimental approach left many viewers confused, unable to find the cohesion that Yoakam intended. The film's pacing and structure, along with its uneven performances, contributed to its lackluster reception. Yoakam's inexperience as a director became evident in the final product. What was meant to be a bold, atmospheric Western turned into a disjointed experience, unable to capture the magic that Yoakam had envisioned. Critics panned the film, and audiences didn't flock to theaters. What was supposed to be a breakthrough project for Yoakam instead became a costly misstep in his career. Beyond the critical failure, the film also had a significant financial toll on Yoakam. With major investors pulling out halfway through production, Yoakam found himself personally funding much of the film's completion. Reports suggest that he put his own money on the line, even going into debt to ensure the film was finished. The financial strain became so heavy that it caused rifts in his personal and professional life. The pressure from the film's mounting costs added an additional layer of stress, affecting his relationships with collaborators, band members, and business associates. Yoakam's foray into filmmaking was not only an artistic challenge, but a personal one, as the financial and emotional costs mounted with each passing day. Despite its failure, South of Heaven, West of Hell holds a unique place in Yoakam's legacy. The film may not have achieved commercial success or critical acclaim, but it stands as a testament to Yoakam's willingness to take risks and push boundaries. This venture into filmmaking showed that he was not content with simply being a country music legend. He sought to express himself in new, challenging ways. The film, flawed as it was, highlighted his passion for storytelling and his commitment to creative freedom. It was an ambitious project that, even in its failure, reflected his drive and determination to create something original. While South of Heaven, West of Hell might not have succeeded at the box office, it reinforced the idea that Dwight Yoakam was a true artist, someone unafraid to embrace failure in pursuit of his creative vision. Dwight Yoakam's transition from country music legend to respected actor is a testament to his remarkable versatility and range as an artist. Over the years, Yoakam has shown an incredible ability to step into a wide variety of roles, from intense villains to quirky characters, proving that his talent extends far beyond the stage. His acting career took off after his breakout role in Sling Blade, 1996, where his portrayal of the cruel Doyle Hargraves captivated audiences and established him as a serious actor. This was just the beginning. Yoakam went on to take on a diverse set of roles, each more complex and varied than the last. In Panic Room, 2002, he played Raoul, a sinister intruder whose quiet menace added a chilling layer to the film. His performance left a lasting impact, showing his ability to embody darker characters with a subtle, unsettling intensity. But Yoakam wasn't just confined to dramatic roles. His appearances in the TV series Under the Dome and Wilfred displayed his ability to dive into more eccentric, offbeat characters, bringing both humor and depth to each role. Whether portraying a villain, a quirky character, or a tortured soul, Yoakam's range as an actor continued to expand, demonstrating that he could embody any persona with authenticity and ease. What has always set Yoakam apart in his acting career is the way he approaches his roles. Much like his music, Yoakam's acting is driven by a deep commitment to honesty and emotional depth. He doesn't just memorize lines, he inhabits the characters he plays. Yoakam approaches acting with the same authenticity that defines his music, diving into each role with a fierce dedication to telling the story truthfully. His performances are not just about hitting the right marks or delivering the perfect line. They are about connecting with the raw emotion and humanity of each character. This approach, built on honesty and an innate understanding of storytelling, allows Yoakam to bring a level of emotional complexity to his roles that feels grounded and real. For Yoakam, acting and music are not separate pursuits. They are interconnected expressions of his ongoing evolution as an artist. Both disciplines require a deep emotional connection to the material, and Yoakam has seamlessly blended the two throughout his career. His music has always been about more than just melodies and lyrics. It's about conveying the stories that resonate with his soul. Similarly, his acting is about revealing the raw truths of human experience, whether through the lens of a dark character or a quirky personality. For Yoakam, the creative process is one continuous journey of growth and self-expression. Whether performing in front of a microphone or a camera, he approaches his work with the same passion and authenticity, always striving to evolve and push boundaries. His willingness to explore new artistic avenues while staying true to his core values speaks to his growth not only as a musician, but as a multifaceted artist. Despite his immense success, Dwight Yoakam has remained steadfast in his commitment to preserving the roots of country music. Throughout his decades-long career, he has been a passionate advocate for traditional country and honky-tonk music, ensuring that the genre's authenticity remains intact for future generations. Yoakam's music has always been a bridge between the past and the present, drawing heavily on the Bakersfield sound and rockabilly influences while still resonating with modern audiences. His dedication to these roots has kept country music grounded in its origins, even as the genre has evolved and embraced new styles. For Yoakam, staying true to the authenticity of country music isn't just a personal mission. It's a responsibility to honor the legacy of those who came before him, and to ensure that the true spirit of country music endures. As much as Yoakam has forged his own path, he has also embraced the role of mentor to younger artists, guiding them through the complexities of today's country music scene. With his wealth of experience and deep understanding of the industry, Yoakam has become a valuable source of wisdom for those who are just starting out. He encourages younger artists to stay true to themselves and their music, reminding them of the importance of authenticity in an industry that is often driven by trends. His mentorship goes beyond offering advice on musical technique. He instills in them the importance of building a loyal fan base and staying grounded in their roots, much as he did in his early career. By sharing his insights, Yoakam helps to shape the future of country music, ensuring that the genre's core values are passed on to the next generation. Looking ahead, Yoakam shows no signs of slowing down. His creative drive continues to push him in new directions, particularly in the realms of film and production. After his ventures into acting and filmmaking, Yoakam has expressed an interest in expanding his role behind the camera, with an eye on directing and producing future projects. His previous experiences in the industry have sparked a desire to explore these new creative outlets, blending his storytelling talents with his deep understanding of the entertainment world. Whether he's behind the lens or on set, Yoakam's artistic vision remains sharp, and his passion for telling compelling stories will undoubtedly shape his future projects. Yoakam's legacy is secure, not only for his contributions to country music, but also for his influence on the entertainment world as a whole. His ability to seamlessly bridge the gap between the traditional and the modern, between music and film, has solidified his place as a cultural icon. He's managed to stay relevant in an ever-changing industry by remaining true to himself, his craft, and the values that have defined his work from the beginning. His impact extends far beyond his hit songs and performances. Yoakam's ability to connect the past with the present has shaped the landscape of both country music and film. As he continues to evolve as an artist and mentor, his cultural influence will only grow, ensuring that his voice remains a powerful force for years to come. Dwight Yoakam's impact on both country music and Hollywood is undeniable. As a country music pioneer, he brought authenticity back to the genre, blending traditional sounds with a rock and roll spirit. His refusal to conform to Nashville's trends opened the door for a new generation of country artists to embrace their individuality. In Hollywood, Yoakam proved that he was more than just a musician, showcasing his versatility with memorable roles that ranged from menacing villains to quirky characters. Through his career, he has shown that true artistry transcends boundaries, whether in music or film. Yoakam's legacy continues to influence both industries, reminding us that passion, authenticity, and creativity are the cornerstones of lasting success. We'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite Dwight Yoakam songs or film roles? Drop a comment below and let us know. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories from the legends of music. Stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we explore the untold stories behind another iconic figure in the world of music.